I was not supposed to be awake that early, man. My body usually refuses to move before the sun even thinks about rising, but that day my eyes just snapped open like somebody yanked me up from the inside. My room was quiet, soft city light leaking through the curtains, air conditioner humming like a low lazy song, and for a second everything looked normal. The nice apartment, the fancy desk, the suit jacket hanging on the chair, the life I built far away from dust and tractors and barking dogs. But inside my chest something felt wrong, like my heart already knew my head was late to the news. I lay there staring at the ceiling, thinking about nothing, and at the same time thinking about my dad, and that alone was weird because I never think about him first thing in the morning, not lately, not after everything that went down between us. I swung my legs out of bed, rubbed my face, and then my phone started buzzing on the nightstand, unknown number calling again, then again like it was panicking. For me, I picked it up with that half-dead lawyer voice. Hello. The voice on the other end sounded small but trained, trying hard to sound calm. This is Riverside County Medical. Is this Mason Ward, son of Daniel Ward? I went cold. Yeah, this is Mason. What happened? Your father was brought in early this morning, suspected heart attack. He is stable but in serious condition. We need a relative listed for decisions and contact. I stared at the wall, my throat dry, my brain throwing up old pictures of him in dirty boots yelling at me across a field, saying stuff that still stung, and yet hearing that word heart attack hit me like a truck. You sure it is my dad? I asked like an idiot. Yes, sir. The woman said he gave your name a while back in his emergency file. You are the only contact we have. Can you come in? I did not think I just moved. I said text me the address. I am coming, and hung up before my voice cracked again. I pulled on jeans, the oldest ones I still owned, grabbed a plain black hoodie, my work phone, my car keys, and my go bag, the one I keep half for emergencies, half for when I feel like running away from everything. The city was still half asleep when I drove out. Underground garage, echoing lights, blinking, the sky just barely turning from black to gray. I pulled my beat-up black SUV onto the road and hit the highway. The city fell behind fast glass towers shrinking in my mirror, replaced by longer, flatter roads, gas stations, billboards, and open sky. I drove with no music, no podcast, nothing, just the sound of the road and my own thoughts, trying not to choke me. I kept seeing my dad's face in my head, all angles and sunburn and hard eyes. The man who loved the land more than he ever knew how to love me. The man who swore I was banned from his farm the last time we talked. You left, you chose the city. You are not welcome on my land again. That is what he said that day, and those words had been sitting inside me like broken glass years later, and now I was on my way back anyway, because whatever he said, whatever I said, he was still my dad, and he was lying in some small-town hospital hooked up to machines while I argued with myself in my head. I gripped the wheel tighter, my knuckles pale, my chest burning, and I whispered to nobody, I am coming, old man, whether you like it or not. The closer I got to the county line, the more the world changed. High-rises turning into tiny shops, fancy coffee into dusty diners, sidewalks into ditches. The sky got bigger too, like it was watching me, asking if I was ready, and honestly I was not, but there was no turning back. I followed the GPS to Riverside Medical, a low squat building sitting tired at the edge of town, brick-faded parking lot, cracked paint peeling off the sign like the place was held together with tape and hope. I parked near the entrance, took a deep breath, and stepped out. The air smelled like dust, disinfectant, and old rain. Inside, the nurse at the front desk gave me one quick look, like she could see the city still stuck to me in the way I walked in my hoodie and worn sneakers. Who are you here for? She asked. I swallowed my pride, my anger, all of it. Daniel Ward, my dad. The words felt heavy and weird in my mouth, like I was borrowing them from somebody else. Her face softened immediately. Room 12, cardiac watch wing down the hall, left side, sanitize first, please. I did what she said, cleaned my hands, slapped the sticker with my name on my chest, and walked down that too bright hallway. Lights buzzing, floor squeaking, each step sounding too loud in my ears. My heart was punching my ribs by the time I reached room 12. I stopped at the door for 1 second, like maybe if I did not go in, this would not be real. Then I pushed it open and stepped inside. Nothing can prepare you for seeing your father small. My dad always looked big, even when he was just standing on the porch, arms folded, staring at the fields like they were his whole universe. Now he lay there on that thin hospital bed, wires on his chest, oxygen line under his nose, skin pale, beard more gray than I remembered, his breathing slow and rough, machines softly beeping like lazy metronomes. I walked closer, feeling like a kid again, and also like a stranger. Hey, I said, voice low. Hey Dad, it is me, Mason. No reaction. His eyes stayed closed. His chest rose and fell, slow, steady, but weak. I pulled the cheap plastic chair closer and sat down next to the bed, looking at his hands, cracked skin, old scars from years of work on the farm. These were the hands that grabbed my shoulder when I tried to run off as a teenager, the hands that slammed tools on the table when we argued, the hands that built fences and barns and a life on dirt I thought I hated. I let out a long, shaky breath. You tried to cut me off, I whispered, but you still put my name on that hospital form, huh? Make it make sense, old man. The door opened behind me. A doctor stepped in, mid-40s, maybe, tired eyes, kind smile. You must be Mason. Yeah, that's me. How is he? The doctor checked the chart, then looked at the monitors. Heart attack, caught early, but still bad. We did what we could, now we watch and wait. His body has been under stress for a long time. You know about that, I stared at my dad's chest, rising and falling stress. Yeah, I know about that, I said. I just did not know it would try to kill him like this. The doctor nodded. If you can find any meds at his home or paperwork that might help us, it would be good. Allergies, past treatments, anything like that. I can do that, I said. I know where he keeps stuff on the farm. The doctor gave me a quick look like he knew the story without knowing it, just from my tone, from the way the word farm came out of my mouth, heavy and complicated. He patted my shoulder lightly. Go when you are ready. We will call if anything changes. I sat there for a few more minutes watching that stubborn chest move up and down, feeling this weird mix of guilt and anger and fear twist together. Inside me, I wanted to yell at him and hug him at the same time. I wanted to demand why he pushed me away and also tell him I was sorry for leaving, but he lay there quiet, trapped in a sleep he maybe did not even choose. Finally, I stood up, leaned closer and whispered, "Listen, I am going out to the farm. I am not staying away this time. I do not care what you said. I am your son and I am going home." Then I turned and walked out of the room, not ready at all, but completely done running. The road to my dad's farm was already burned into my memory, even after years away. Long, narrow strip of cracked asphalt leaving town, then fading into dirt and gravel and open fields on both sides. I drove with the windows half down, letting the country air slap against the inside of the car. It smelled like dust and grass and something old that never changes, and my chest hurt from it in a way I could not explain. I told myself this trip was simple: go to the farm, grab his medicine papers, maybe some clothes for when he wakes up, bring them back. No drama, no fights, no past getting dragged out bleeding in the yard. But the closer I got, the more my stomach twisted like it knew better. The sky stretched wide and blue above me, the kind of sky you do not see in the city, only out here, where the horizon is a straight line that refuses to end. The fence posts rolled past my window, familiar even from a distance, old wood leaning slightly, wire rusted but still hanging on, stubborn like my dad. As I took the last curve, I slowed down, getting ready to see the old wooden gate he built himself, the one that always squeaked like a tired dog whenever you opened it, except the gate was gone. In its place, something else stood, tall and wrong, a metal monster, a tall silver steel gate blocking the whole road like a wall out of nowhere. Thick bars, heavy hinges, bright yellow signs screwed in the middle. Green Meadows Community Association, private access residents and authorized personnel only. What the hell, I whispered. Without even thinking, my car rolled to a slow stop, gravel crunching under the tires. There was a white SUV parked next to the gate, big logo on the side, Green Meadows Security. Two men stood in front of it, arms folded, sunglasses on. Even though the sun was dropping, they looked like they were trying way too hard to be scary. One of them stepped forward as soon as I stopped. "Can we help you, sir?" His tone said he did not want to help me at all. "Yeah," I said, fighting the urge to swear. "I am heading to the Ward farm. That is my dad's place. That land belongs to my family. I need to get through." The two guards looked at each other like they agreed I was a problem, not a visitor. The taller one spoke first. "The Ward property is under Green Meadows jurisdiction now. Residents have new access rules. Do you live there?" I clenched my jaw. "No, I live in the city, but my dad lives here. He is in the hospital right now. I need to get to the house and grab his medicine, his papers, all that stuff." The shorter guard chewed gum way too loud and smirked. "Sorry, buddy, your name is not on our list." No entryman called me buddy, like he was doing me a favor. I felt something hot rise in my chest. "Look," I said, voice low, trying hard not to start yelling, "this is my father's farm. He never signed up for any HOA nonsense. He hates that stuff. And this road, you see this road under your shiny gate? Yeah, it is on our land. You cannot legally block it like this." The tall guard tilted his head like he was talking to a kid whose toy he just took away. "Green Meadows has signed agreements and recorded filings in place," he said smooth. "You can call the number on the sign if you disagree. The office is closed right now though, and we have clear instructions. Anyone not currently registered as a resident is banned from entering until further notice." The word banned hit me like a slap, banned from my own father's land. I stared at the gate, at the stupid leaf logo on the sign, at the guards acting like they owned the dirt under their boots. My hands were shaking a little, not from fear but from pure disbelief. "You understand, my dad is lying in a hospital bed right now," I said. "I am trying to help him. He needs meds information. There are important things in that house. Do you really want it on camera that you blocked his son from helping him?" The gum chewer shrugged. "Suppose you should have sorted that before the paperwork went through." "Counselor," he added that word like poison. My heart stuttered. "You call me what, counselor?" he repeated. "I heard the sheriff say you were some big shot lawyer from the city. That right?" I knew right then they were expecting me. Someone told them I was coming. Someone wanted this gate conversation to happen. I swallowed, slow and cold. "Yeah, I am a lawyer," I said, "and that means I know you are pushing it hard right now." I tapped my dashboard. My phone screen woke up, recording app already open. I held it where they could see it. "This whole talk is on record," I said, nice and calm. "You are denying access to immediate family during a medical situation on land that has been in the Ward name for decades." The tall guard's jaw twitched, and for a second I could see the doubt behind the Shades then the training snapped back in. Look man, he said, lowering his voice a little, I do not make the rules, I just follow them. You want to fight it, do it with the office like everybody else, but today you are not going through this gate. I stared at the road beyond him. I could literally see the tops of my dad's trees over the metal bars, the old oak near the driveway, the one I used to climb as a kid, all of it right there, a few hundred yards away and still out of reach. My chest felt tight, my hands aching from gripping the steering wheel so hard. Legally, I could try to push this route in court. Emotionally, I just wanted to drive right through their shiny new barrier and watch it fall like cardboard, but I was not stupid. Ramming the gate would give them exactly what they wanted, a reason to call the sheriff, a reason to paint me as the crazy, the city son trying to cause trouble, and somewhere in the middle of all that my dad would still be alone. I took a slow breath, pulled the anger back like a leash. Fine, I said, you made your choice, both of you. What is your names for the record? They stiffened. The tall one hesitated, then answered Logan Price. The other one rolled his eyes, but added Theo Marsh. I repeated their names loud enough so the phone could catch them, then gave a small cold smile. Thanks Logan, thanks Theo. Enjoy guarding a gate that will not be standing much longer. The gum chewer scoffed. Yeah right, man, sure thing, you have a nice day. Now I shifted the SUV into reverse and backed away slow, never taking my eyes off that stupid the gate or the men in front of it. To them it probably looked like they won some small battle, like they had chased off the annoying city boy, but as I turned the car around, a different feeling settled inside me, heavier, sharper, more dangerous. This was not just about family drama anymore, this was about someone stealing the ground under my dad's feet and thinking nobody would fight back. They drove away from that gate with one promise echoing in my head: I am coming back, and next time I am not asking. I headed back toward town with my jaw clenched so hard it hurt. The sky was sliding from blue into orange, the sun dragging long shadows over the fields like fingers over old scars. I wanted to go back to the hospital, sit by my dad's bed and forget that gate even existed, but I knew how this stuff worked. Once paperwork gets twisted, once somebody slides a fake signature into a dusty county file, things get ugly fast. If I waited too long, the lie would become reality on paper, and then it would be hell trying to untangle it in court, and I was not about to let some hoslime rewrite my family history while my dad was too weak to even argue. I pulled into a cheap motel on the edge of town, checked in with a board kit behind the counter, who did not care who I was or why my hands were shaking, then dumped my bag on the bed and opened my laptop. The Wi-Fi was trash, but it was enough to get me into the county website. Kind of the property records page looked like it had not been updated since dial-up days. Buttons, ugly text, misaligned little spinning circle taking its sweet time. I typed my dad's name, Daniel, ward, parcel number, line, township numbers, all the stuff I still remembered even after years of pretending I did not care. The page loaded like a slow breath, and then there it was. Ward property listed, straight up owner Daniel Ward, last transferred date almost 20 years ago. No mention of Green Meadows, no new deed, no sale, nothing. I let out a harsh laugh. So they put up a huge steel gate and hired security, but never actually recorded a real transfer. That meant one thing: somebody got creative with other types of paperwork. I clicked deeper, looking for annexation notes, easements, association filings, all aside. Doors shady people like to use when they cannot get a clean sale for a while. Nothing popped up, just old boring notes about fencing and water rights. Then one PDF link caught my eye: scanned document, annexation notice, community overlay. I opened it, heart pounding, and saw a fuzzy stamp at the top, date from 2 weeks ago. My stomach dropped. The text said something like, pursuant to local code, the following land parcels are included in Green Meadows community overlay area for security and maintenance. And they're right. There was my dad's parcel number written in like it was no big deal. No consent needed, no signature from him, no sale price, just some fake fancy words saying, hey, now we control this whole area, enjoy the rules. The bottom of the document had a county seal and a scribbled name of some clerk I did not recognize. My brain shifted from anger to lawyer mode fast. All right, I muttered, so that is how you are playing it. You do not buy the land, you pretend the land is inside your little community bubble, and then you act like that gives you power over roads and gates and everything else. Nice trick, ugly and illegal. I took screenshots, downloaded the PDF, saved copies everywhere, email, cloud, flash drive, all of it. I knew how these games went. Files disappear when you start asking questions. Better to have my own set before anyone hit delete. Next step, figure out who signed this trash and how high it went. I looked up the clerk name on the county staff page, no picture, but I found a short line listing him as new hire, less than a year ago, transferred from some neighboring county. Yeah, that smelled bad. Temporary guy, easy to throw under the bus when things blow up. I checked the time, almost 8 at night. The courthouse would be closed already. I would have to hit it first thing in the morning, dig through real physical records, not just the broken website. But sitting around doing nothing all night was not my style. I grabbed my phone, scrolled to a number I had not used in months, took a breath and hit call. He picked up on the second ring, same deep voice as always. Mason, this better be good, man. I smirked a little. Hey Noah, You busy tonight? Kinda in the middle of some paperwork for the state, boring stuff. Why, what did you step into now? I sighed, pushed my hand through my hair, staring at the motel ceiling like it could answer for me. Remember those crazy HOA fraud cases you told me about last year, the ones you were sniffing around? Yeah, why? Because I think one of those clowns just tried it on my dad's farm. My guy Noah was not FBI like in some show, but he worked for the state attorney office in the financial crimes unit, and he hated dirty paperwork more than I did. Tell me everything, he said, and his tone changed from casual to razor focus. I gave him the quick version: the early morning hospital called, the farm, the steel gate, the guards, the annexation PDF with my dad's land number. All of it. He listened without interrupting, his breathing steady on the other end. That is messy, he finally said. And you are sure your dad never agreed to any hoe crap? Not in this lifetime, I answered. He used to spit whenever somebody even said the word hoe, and the deed online still shows his name only. No sale, no lien, no nothing. Noah clicked his tongue through the speaker. Okay, listen, he said, I cannot do official stuff yet, but I can check if this Green Meadows group has popped up on our radar. Send me that PDF and anything else you got. Tonight and tomorrow, go hit the county recorder up in person. Get certified copies. I know you know this, but I will say it anyway. Do not lose your cool with local cops or staff. They always side with the people who act calm. I closed my eyes for a second. Yeah, I know, I said, but these guys built a damn gate on our road. Noah paused, and when he spoke again, his voice was softer. Hey, I get it, man. Your dad, your land, your history, but you called me, which means you still think with your head. Use that. Keep everything documented. Keep recording everything you do, every convo. Got it, got it. I said, thanks, man. Really, do not thank me yet, he replied. Send the stuff over and keep your eyes open. People who pull this move rarely stop at one farm. After the call, I sat on the edge of the bed staring at my laptop screen. The motel room smelled like old coffee, and cheap cleaner cars went by outside every few minutes, headlights sliding across the curtains, and even though I was exhausted, my brain would not shut up. What if they had already pressured my dad when I was not around? What if he signed something without understanding it? What if someone shoved a stack of paper in front of him on a bad day and said, this is just to protect your farm from trespassers, and he trusted them because nobody taught him the fine print? My chest tightened with guilt. I had left him alone in this world of forms and signatures and codes, and now he was paying for it while I played big shot in the city. I shut the laptop with a little more force than I meant to. I stood, went to the tiny sink, splashed water on my face, stared at my reflection. You walked away, I told the guy in the mirror. You left him to fight alone, and now you think you can fix it in a weekend. Do better. I grabbed my hoodie again and stepped outside into the cool night air. Stars spread across the sky, the way you never see in the city, each one bright and sharp and far away. I looked toward the dark shape of the hills, where the farm sat hidden behind a stolen gate, and I made a quiet promise under my breath. Tomorrow you are not keeping me out. You can fake papers, you can hire guards, you can build walls, but I am my father's son, and I know how to fight too. Morning in a small town hits different. The light feels raw, the air smells like coffee and dust and old hopes trying again. I drove to the courthouse before 8 cup of gas station coffee in my hand, so bitter it felt like punishment, but it kept my eyes open. The building looked exactly like I remembered from years ago. Low brick, faded flag, squeaky front doors. Inside it smelled like paper and sweat, and those old air conditioners that never quite worked. The recorder office sat in the back, glass window cloudy from age, metal sign hanging crooked, county records. I pushed the little bell on the counter. A woman in her 50s, maybe with sharp eyes and tired hands, came over. Name tag said Marie. Can I help you? She asked, kind but suspicious. I leaned on the counter slightly. Yeah, my name is Mason Ward. I grew up out on the East Road. My dad is Daniel Ward. She blinked, then her face softened. Oh, I know your daddy, she said. He comes in sometimes to yell at us about taxes. She almost smiled. I huffed a quick laugh. Yeah, that sounds like him. Listen, I need every record you have on his land, especially anything filed in the last month. Annexations, easements, anything with the name Green Meadows on it, please. Her expression changed again. Serious now. She clicked around on her computer, muttering to herself, then frowned. Strange. She whispered. What is strange? I asked. There is a community overlay notice here, she said, but it is marked as internal, processed late after hours, no owner. The signature attached, and it is linked to 3 parcels including your dad's. She turned the screen slightly so I could see it there. It was same PDF I found last night, but this time with an internal timestamp, filed 8:30 p.m. by clerk, ID number, not even a full name. Marie shook her head. That is not standard. We never finalize these without a signed consent from the owner or a clear legal order. This looks sloppy as hell. She caught herself and cleared her throat. Sorry language. I leaned closer. Can you print it for me, certified with your seal, everything? She hesitated. You think something bad is going on? I met her eyes straight. Yeah, I think someone is trying to steal my dad's land while he is in the hospital, and they already put up a giant gate on our road. She sucked in a breath. Oh no, that explains the complaints we got last week. I asked complaints about what she printed while she talked. A couple of folks called saying Green Meadows was acting like it owned half the county, threatened people with fines, blocked dirt roads that have always been open. I told the board we needed to slow down with them, but they just love that hoe money. She slid the documents to me, each page stamped heavy and official there. You go, she said, and if anyone asks, these were released under standard public record request. I nodded. Thanks, Marie. And if this all blows up later, remember today because somebody might try to blame you. She snorted. They can try. I follow the rules better than they do now. Go fight for your daddy, boy. I tucked the papers into my folder, heart steady now, lawyer brain fully online. By the time I stepped out into the sunlight, I already had the outline of my plan in my head. Step 1, proof of fraudulent filing. Step 2, proof of illegal obstruction. Step 3, necessity for reclaiming access to property. Step 4, back everything up with video, because people lie but cameras do not. I climbed into my SUV, set my phone on the dash, hit record and started talking. This is Mason Ward, I said, voice firm. I am on my way to the Ward farm to access my father's house. He is in the hospital and I need to bring back medication and documents. Green Meadows has installed an illegal gate on our private road and denied me entry yesterday. I now have certified proof from the recorder office showing their annexation notice was filed without owner consent after hours and under suspicious conditions. If they block me again, I will document it and take reasonable steps to remove the illegal barrier. I saved the recording, then clicked on the front camera setting. Any interaction at that gate was going straight into the cloud. I drove out of town, the fields rolling by again, sunlight brighter than yesterday. Dust flying up from every truck that passed, but this time I did not feel like some lost kid coming back to a place that did not want him. I felt like a problem with a plan as the steel gate came into view. My pulse slowed instead of speeding up. It stood there gulping up the whole road, just as ugly as before. Today, though, I saw every bolt, every hinge, every weak point. I pulled up just far enough for the front camera to catch everything, then stopped. The same two guards walked out from beside the SUV, Logan and Theo, like they had been waiting for their morning entertainment. Logan lifted a hand. Car showtime, man. He smirked. You again. We told you yesterday you were banned. I rolled the window down slow. Good morning, Logan. Good morning, Theo. I said like I was greeting co-workers. I just came from the recorder office. I have certified proof your little annexation trick is dirty. The land is still under my dad's name. Only the shorter guard scoffed. That does not change the rules, bro. You do not live here. You do not enter. I leaned slightly so my phone could see my face clearly. Okay, thanks for confirming, I said calmly. The time is 8:47. The guards for Green Meadows security are again denying me access to my father's property while he is in the hospital, even after being informed their filing is fraudulent. Logan looked annoyed. Man, do not talk like you are in court. Just turn around. I smiled, a small sharp one. No. Now here is what is going to happen. I am giving you one last chance to open this gate and avoid what comes next, because I am going through today with you or without you. Logan took a few steps closer, jaw tight, hands on his belt, like he wanted this to get messy. If you try anything stupid, we call the sheriff, he said. You will be arrested for trespassing and reckless driving. I shrugged. Maybe, but it will be very fun showing the judge this video later. I put the SUV in park, opened the door and stepped out, keeping my hands visible. My heart was beating hard, but my mind felt weirdly calm, like I had stepped into a courtroom I knew by heart. I walked up to the gate, pulled a folded paper from my pocket and taped it to one of the steel bars. This is written notice, I said, loud enough for the recording, stating that I am entering my father's property to collect medical and legal items because access has been illegally blocked. You guys are now fully aware of the situation. If you hit my car or me, that is on you. Logan rolled his eyes. Man, you are dramatic, he muttered. Then he did the dumbest and best thing he could have done. He slapped his hand hard on the hood of my SUV. Stay put, he barked. You move this thing and we call it assault. My brain clicked like a lock. That was the last piece. Aggression on camera, physical interference. I nodded once. Thanks, Logan. You just made this easy. I got back into the driver's seat, took one deep breath and whispered, sorry, old truck. Before shifting into drive, the guards started yelling, hey, do not even think about it. But I was done thinking. I eased my foot on the pedal, not slamming it, just steady forward pressure. The front bumper kissed the gate. The metal groaned. The whole structure shook. Logan jumped back, swearing. Theo scrambled to the side, hands up like I was a tank, but I did not stop. I kept rolling, slow, relentless, pushing that ugly gate right off the weak hinges. Somebody had installed wrong. The bottom bolts ripped out first with a scream, then the top ones popped, and the whole gate tilted, then crashed sideways into the ditch. Dust exploded everywhere. My SUV rolled over the spot where it used to stand like nothing was there, because legally nothing should have been there. I stopped just inside the property line, let the engine idle and spoke to the camera again. Illegal barrier removed from private road, minimum force used, no one injured. Proceeding to my father's house for necessary items. I looked back in the mirror. Logan was staring at me, red-faced, phone already pressed to his ear. Yeah, go ahead, I thought. Call whoever you want. Sheriff, ho boss, your mom, I do not care. I put the car in gear and drove forward down the old familiar road, my chest tight, my eyes burning, not from guilt, but from something like relief mixed with fury. This land was not stolen yet, and I was here now, and whatever storm was about to hit, I was not backing off. The driveway looked almost the same as in my memory, just more tired grass, taller porch paint, more peeled, but the house still stood. My dad's stubborn little kingdom. I parked near the steps and climbed out. The air felt heavy, like the ground itself knew something ugly was coming. I pushed open the front door and it swung too easy. No lock, no chain. My stomach dropped. My dad always locked his door, always. I stepped inside and it hit me right away. This place had been searched, not lived in. Couch, cushions, off-center drawers, pulled open rug ruffled like someone lifted it in a hurry. I walked through the kitchen cabinet, doors half open, that cookie tin Mum once used now empty on its side. Cheap safe spot, blown. The cheap ceramic jar my dad kept spare cash and shattered across the floor like somebody stomped it. For fun, anger buzzed in my ears, but I kept walking. Bedroom next to clothes. Scattered closet doors wide open, top shelf empty where I knew a small fireproof box used to sit. They took it, of course. They did a safe with deed copies, emergency cash, maybe letters, anything of value, easy to grab and run. I swallowed hard, trying not to imagine them going through my dad's things while he lay in some ambulance. I was kneeling on the floor looking under the bed for any hidden envelopes when I heard the sound outside, gravel crunching hard on the driveway, then doors slamming. I stood up, walked back to the living room and looked out the window to sheriff vehicles parked in front. Lights on but no sirens. 3 deputies stepping out, hands already near their belts. My jaw clenched. I walked out onto the porch before they could start yelling. The lead one, short white hat tilted back, called out, "Are you Mason Ward?" "Yeah," I said, calm as I could be. "That is me." He nodded like he just checked something off a list. "You are under arrest for destruction of property and trespass and reckless endangerment." "Hands where we can see them." I breathed out, slow anger wanting to explode, but training kicking in instead. "On what property?" I asked. "This is my father's land, under the control of Green Meadows." "Oh, now," he replied quick. "They filed the complaint this morning. You drove through their gate. We have witnesses." I almost laughed. "Your witnesses put that gate on our road illegally, and I have the recorder papers to prove their annexation is trash." The deputy shrugged. "Not my problem, man. We just follow the judge orders. You can argue the rest in court. Turn around, hands behind your back, please." The word please did not soften anything. I could feel every muscle in my shoulder screaming, but I did what I had to do. I turned, put my hands back and let the cold cuffs close around my wrists, tight enough to hurt but not enough to break. "I am not resisting," I said, loud and clear for anyone recording. "I am just stating on record that this arrest is based on fraudulent claims from Green Meadows." One of the deputies scoffed. Yeah, you lawyers all say that," he muttered. They walked me to the car, shoved my head down slightly so I would not hit the frame like I was some random drunk. I sat on that hard back seat watching my dad's porch shrink as the car door slammed shut, and for a moment something inside me cracked. I had come to help him, and now I was being dragged away from his home in cuffs, just like the people messing him up wanted. But right when despair tried to climb inside my chest, something else showed up behind it. I remembered Noah's words, documentation, calm, patience, use your one call wisely. The ride to the station was short. The deputies chatted in the front like I was not there, talking about some barbecue this weekend. One of them finally remembered his script. "You have the right to remain silent and all that. Do you understand these rights?" I nodded. "Yeah, I understand, and I plan to use them, smart man," he muttered. "Maybe." I rolled my shoulders against the cuffs, felt the metal bite my skin, and made myself a promise. I was not letting this small town circus be the end of the story. The county jail smelled exactly how it looked, sick, gray, and tired. They took my stuff, my belt, my phone, and stuck me in a small holding cell with a metal bench and a toilet that hummed like it was haunted. Time slowed. No clock, no window, just the sound of voices echoing down the hall and keys clinking every now and then. After what felt like an hour, a deputy came back with a bored expression. "You get one call," he said. "Make it quick." I walked to the phone, my wrists free now, but the marks already red, and picked up the receiver, dialed Noah's number from memory, my fingers shaking only a little. He answered with that same steady tone. "Yeah, this is Noah. Who is this?" "It is me," I said. "Mason, in a bit of a situation right now." He sighed deeply. "What did you do? Do not tell me you punched some ho dude." "No," I said. "I drove through their illegal gate. They had me arrested on trespass and property damage." He whistled low. "Damn, you move fast, man. I told you to stay calm." "I am calm," I said. "I just used my car like a very gentle wrecking ball." "Listen, they also searched my dad's house. I am sure of it. The safe is gone, drawers everywhere. I think Green Meadows is trying to wipe every trace that proves this land is still ours." Noah went quiet for a long second. "All right, here's what we are going to do," he said finally. "I already checked them last night. They have a file at our office. There are multiple complaints on them from other counties. I am coming down with my team, but I need you to sit tight. Do not talk to local cops about anything beyond basic info. Do not sign a single paper. You hear me? Not one." I nodded, gripping the phone so hard my knuckles hurt. "Got it. No signatures, no statements." He continued, "Since your dad is in the hospital and there is suspicion of ongoing fraud, we can push for emergency intervention, but I have to make some very fast calls. Stay strong, man. You did not start this, remember that." Before he hung up, he added quietly, "Hey Mason, your dad is lucky you came back." I swallowed the lump in my throat. "Yeah," I said, "or maybe I am just late. We will see." The hours after that blurred a bit. I sat on the bench, breathing slow, letting my anger cool into something sharper, more focused. Every step they took to crush us was turning into evidence in my head. Illegal gate, home invasion, stolen safe, bogus filing, late night annexation. Every piece fit together like an ugly puzzle. At some point, a deputy walked past and smirked "Let me enjoy the view, counselor," he said. "The HOA people said you would be dramatic." I just smiled a little, not big enough to bother him next time. "You talk to them, tell them this is the calm version of me." He snorted and kept walking around what felt like evening, though time was weird down there. Footsteps sounded different, heavy, like they belonged to people who were not used to asking permission. Moments later the cell door opened and there stood Noah in a dark jacket, badge clipped to his belt, and two other officials behind him, serious faces, serious eyes. He looked at me through the bars and shook his head. "Dude, you really do not know how to keep it simple, do you?" I let out a short laugh. "Guess you like me busy or you would not pick up my calls." He turned to the deputy. "I am with the state attorney office," he said, voice firm. "I need Mr. Ward's release into my custody pending investigation on Green Meadows. Ho, you are holding a key witness in an active fraud case." The deputy frowned, confused then nervous. I gotta call the sheriff," he stammered. "You do that," Noah replied, "and tell him if he wants to argue he can do it with my boss and the judge." The next 15 minutes were tense. Quiet talking down the hall, phones ringing, papers shuffled at the end. The sheriff himself came by, big man, big belly, fake tough energy. He did not like this at all, but he liked the word investigation even less. "Fine," he grunted after Noah showed him some file. "You can take him, but if he sets foot on that HOA property again, he's going right back in." I stepped out of the cell, feeling my legs protest a little from sitting so long. Noah clapped a hand on my shoulder. "Let us go," he said. "We got work to do." Once we were in his car heading away from the station, he finally spoke again. "You know what your little stunt with the gate did?" he asked. "Gave them drama for their sad group chat." I guessed he snorted. "It gave us probable cause," he said. "They rushed the complaint and attached a copy of that fake annexation notice with some weird extra stuff added that they did not bother to clean up. We got our hands on it and now we can show a pattern of fraud, not just an accident. So congrats. You crashed your way into a bigger case than you imagined." I leaned my head back against the seat, let out a breath I did not know I was holding. "Think we can still save the farm?" I asked. Noah kept his eyes on the road. "If we move fast," he said, "if the judge sees what I see, and if Green Meadows is as dirty as I think they are, then yeah, man, yeah, I think we can." The next weeks felt like living inside a storm. Paperwork, hearings, interviews. My life turned into a loop of county offices and courtrooms and late nights at my dad's kitchen table going through old files with Noah. The best part was watching Green Meadows fall apart piece by piece once the state got involved. More people stepped forward, old couples who got bullied into signing shady maintenance contracts. Young families fined for stupid things like kids' bikes on the lawn. One farmer from the next county who almost lost his land to a fake assessment. They all had the same name stamped on their letters. Green Meadows. Some had the same signatures. Some of those signatures matched the ones on our doctored annexation notice, and one by one they got lined up in thick binders in front of a not very amused judge. The hearing for our land felt like a final boss. I sat next to Noah's suit slightly wrinkled from too many miles. Dad sat on the other side, leaning on a cane, now his face thinner, but his eyes still sharp and proud, even if he pretended not to be scared. I could tell Green Meadows showed up with their lawyer, a slick guy from the city, and their manager, a man who had replaced the original lady after she mysteriously resigned right when the state started digging. He tried to smile at us like we were neighbors fighting over a fence line, not a legacy. We spent hours walking the judge through everything: forged timing on the annex filing, missing owner consent, illegal gate placement, stolen safe, witness statements from neighbors about late-night trucks. The judge listened with this slow, deep patience that made my skin crawl, because you never know if that kind of quiet means good or bad when it was the other side's turn. Their lawyer tried to make it sound like a misunderstanding, just an over-enthusiastic security program trying to protect the community. He even suggested my dad had agreed to some of it verbally with no proof, just vibes like that would hold up. I asked to speak when Noah nodded. I stood up, heart hammering but voice steady. "Your Honor," I said, "I work contracts for a living. I read more small print than I read real books, and I am telling you right now, there is no universe where my father would ever say yes to people like this. He may not understand legal codes, but he understands his land. He fought every company that ever tried to mess with it, and if he had truly signed it away, they would be waving that paper around right now instead of waving a broken gate and a fake annexation notice." He tried to object, but the judge held up a hand. "I have seen enough paper here to kill a forest," he said, "and right now the only documents that look honest are the ones showing Green Meadows lied." He leaned back, looked straight at the HOA lawyer, then at my dad. "Mr. Ward," he said, "your land is yours and remains so. Any attempt from this group to claim authority over your road or your fields is void. As of right now, the annexation filing a stricken fraudulent activity has been noted and will be part of the wider investigation." I heard my dad suck in a breath beside me, like someone had finally lifted a tractor off his chest. The judge turned to us. "One more thing," he said quietly. "You have both been through hell because of other people's greed. I cannot undo that, but I can say this: do not let anyone talk you into signing anything about this land without a lawyer present." And he nodded at me like he saw exactly who that lawyer should be when the gavel came down. This time it did not sound like noise. It sounded like a door slamming shut on every sleepless night I had spent since that early phone call from the hospital outside the courthouse we stood on. The steps feeling the sun on our faces. People from town passed by, some nodding at my dad, some clapping him on the back, telling him they knew something was off with that HOA mess the whole time. My dad took it all in quiet, then looked at me. "You did good, boy," he said, voice low. He had called me many things, but boy had not been one of them in a long time. I laughed a little, wiping at my eyes before they got stupid. "You let them put my name on that hospital file," I said. "Kind of sounds like you always hoped I would come back." He shrugged, looking away like the bricks were suddenly interesting maybe. "I never stopped waiting," he admitted under his breath. We drove back to the farm that afternoon. The road felt different. No gates, no guards, just open space and dust behind the wheels, like it was supposed to be the spot where the steel monster once stood, now just a scar in the dirt. Deep tracks from the heavy machinery that had come earlier to pull it out by court order when we parked. Near the house, Bruno came limping around the side of the barn, tail wagging like crazy, letting out broken barks that sounded like laughter. My dad crouched down as far as his back allowed and hugged that dog like he was a lost child. I stood there, watching them, and something in my chest loosened. I walked out to the field alone later, boots crunching over dry grass, the sky wide and pink from the setting sun. I looked at the rows of soil stretching out to the horizon, the same land I used to cursed as endless work, the same land people across a boardroom table had looked at as numbers on a growth chart to me, right? Then it felt like a living thing, a stubborn, old, breathing thing that had fought for us as much as we fought for it. My phone buzzed in my pocket, a text from Noah. "You guys good out there?" I smiled. "Yeah." I typed back, "We are good for now. Thanks for having my back, city boy." He replied. I laughed and slipped the phone away. I went back to the house and found my dad at the kitchen table staring at the spot where his safe used to be. "Hey," I said softly, "you know we can replace the box, right? Maybe not the stuff in it, but still." He shook his head slow. "The papers we can copy." He said. "The money was nothing. The ring we got back thanks to you. To me it was never about what was inside." I frowned. "Then what was it about?" He looked up at me, eyes shiny in a way I pretended not to notice. "That box made me feel like I had some control," he said. "A quiet place for the most important pieces of my life that I could lock and guard with my own hands. When your mom died, when you left, I held on to that damn safe like it was proof I had not lost everything." I pulled out a new fireproof safe from the bag I brought in earlier, set it on the floor next to his chair. "This one is better," I said. "Stronger combination lock. I will write down the code and keep a copy with my files in the city or in my house here. If I build one, and if anyone tries this crap again, they do not just deal with a farmer, they deal with both of us." He stared at the safe, then at me. For a second I thought he might argue, then he nodded. "Yeah." He said. "Both of us." That night we ate simple food at the same old table, cheap soup, bread from town, nothing fancy, but it tasted like a feast. Bruno snored under the chair. My dad told me about the last few years in bits and pieces, not in clean storytelling, or just small comments about drought, about prices dropping, about feeling tired and alone and scared too. Called me because he thought I had moved on. I told him about my cases in the city, the liars I took down, the nights I walked home from the office too wired to sleep and wondered if the sky above the buildings missed the stars. When I finally stepped outside before bed, the air was cool, the sky was clear. I walked down to where the gate used to be, crouched down and pushed my fingers into the soil. It felt dry, rough, but real. I made a small hole with my hand, pulled a little packet of seeds from my pocket and poured them in. "My mom loved sunflowers," I said quietly to the dark. "They were the only things that made her forget the stress for a while." I covered the seeds with dirt, pressed my palm flat over the spot, and stood there for a long minute just breathing in the silence. No guards, no metal, no sign telling me I was banned from land my own family had bled on. Just open road, open field, open future behind me. I heard boots crunching. My dad walked up slow, stopped next to me. Both of us staring at the same patch of dirt. "You staying?" he asked, voice rough, not looking at me. I took a breath, and for once the answer was easy. "Yeah." I said. "Maybe not in the house with you, 'cause we would fight about dishes every day, but I am building my own place on the west edge where the line of sight is good and the wind is nice." He huffed a laugh. "Figures you still want your own corner." I bumped his shoulder gently. "Apples do not fall that far," and all that. He nodded. "Good," he said. Then, after a pause, proud, and I felt that word settle into my bones like a final piece finally sliding into place. Months later, those sunflowers grew tall, bright faces turned toward the sky. Every time I drove through that spot, I slowed down, let the gold blur fill my vision, a living reminder that the land still belongs to us, that paper can be twisted, but truth can be dug up and replanted as long as someone is stubborn enough to show up. I visited my dad's farm, and yet the HOA guards tried to block me, tried to ban me, tried to turn my own road into a wall, but they forgot something simple. You can scare a man, you can scare a town, but it is a lot harder to scare someone who finally stopped running, especially when the land itself is standing behind him waiting for him to come home.